Say it again.
Talk to me, baby. Háblame de seguros.
I'm Vera Igni.
Y yo, Itzel Greenhack. Y juntas somos
Talk Insurance to me. Thank you so much for being here today. We really appreciate it. We're really excited. You're actually, we're going to be doing a series of these interviews, and you were just the first person that we were like, let's start with her because, yeah, it just means a lot to have you on here. So we really appreciate that. But one of the reasons why we started Talk Insurance to me is because we just felt like there was a lack of representation in terms of like female Latinas. And we're not just focused on women in insurance. It really is just about people who have been in it a long time or are new and are doing such big things, but nobody really pays attention. And a lot of times it is because either they're female or they're Latino or whatever minority that just doesn't stand out. And we also want to be able to share like insights and impulses. And there's so much learning. And I don't know, Itzel and I see like other states, like they have groups and unions, associations that are really pushing agents to work together. And California just seems to be kind of like, there's a hesitation to work together, and we would love to be a part of changing that. And that's partly why we bring you on, because you've just been in it and a lot of people know you. And I think you also love, from what we've seen, you love to give back, right? So yay. Yeah, so Itzel, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Yes, I actually noticed that with, with the pandemic and in general, the agents in California, some of them are like more united in some areas, but we are kind of like living the same problems, but in different boats. And I think some of the issues that we have in the insurance industry would be solved or will be, work better if we have this union. And that's what we're trying to do also, to be like a bridge, that we are completely 100% involved in this industry that I actually personally love so much.
And so before we get any further,
sure.
Honestly, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. I am so honored, and I love the fact that you just explained all of that. And what an amazing opportunity that we have really as Latinos to, to really speak from our heart, to really show it's not just hard work and dedication, that we truly do have the potential and the capacity to really strive for more and to really empower others to feel within each one of us what we were created to do. So I am so honored to be on, and thank you both of you for bringing this. And it'll be really, really neat to see agents just coming together. Like, there's no competition. Like, there's billions of people out there in California. There's so much. Like,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even cover my city, So.
I know that's so important for people to learn, is that you can band together and still everyone be successful, right? Because there's
Absolutely.
Introduce yourself a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself, so that agents watching and any individuals watching this can get to know Patty a little bit, and then we'll go into a couple of questions.
Okay. Well, so I'm Patty Lares, and I have two locations, just so you know. Our first one that we opened was in the city of Orange, which, by the way, October 2nd, we'll be celebrating 20 years. So
wow, congrats.
Thank you. It has been a long journey. Really loved every part of it. And our second location, which is in Anaheim, and that was just a dream because I started in this industry at the age of 16. And so, I mean, I'll tell you a little bit about the story only because I feel that this can support anyone out there. But unfortunately or fortunately for me, I left my parents' home at the age of 16. So it was survival. I needed to have a job. And back in those days, they still had this thing called the register on Sundays. And that's where people put all this ads of jobs. And so anyway, I answered to an ad that was for a receptionist. And I thought, well, I can type, and I can go in. And sure enough, I went. It happened to be in an agency, an insurance agency. And the rest is truly history. Like, I came in there And one thing that was very beneficial for me is that they didn't have anyone there that spoke Spanish. Yet they had a lot of clients that were Spanish speakers because of the location. Right. And they were sending them down the street. So about a week later, I said, you know, like I can help these people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and so from there on, it was like Patty was quoting and Patty was doing, okay, I can say that now. And I also had told them I was 18, so they didn't know I was 16. So
really?
Yeah. So we get past that. Don't do that, by the way. Start at 18, but regardless, I am so blessed that I landed in insurance. I fell in love with it. I love just really helping people, like hearing their story. And I think that was a main connection for me.
Wow. That's incredible that you really just jumped right into it. And I think that's always such a, one of the questions that we love in general to ask people is like, how did you get into insurance? Because no one wakes up and says, when I grow up, I want to be an insurance agent.
I mean, obviously you explained how you got into insurance. So did you had a mentor? Did you had somebody that guide you then into, you know, now, you know, becoming an agent and a business owner? How you went into that path?
I would say that I can't say that I called anyone a mentor right off the bat because of the type of where I came in, right? It was more of a kind of a receptionist. I started just watching. I believe for me it was, again, like survival on the need. And it automatically came into like, oh, I can actually help people. And it's almost like a nature, like a second nature to me, right? Mm-hmm. But I would say that in the years later, as I became the office manager of that agency about a year and a half later, and just being able to speak to other marketing reps and just grabbing information from them, I would say I met this man who I would say to a degree is my mentor. Actually, at 19, I had my daughter, so I purchased my first life insurance policy from an Allstate agent. And because secretly I could not insure myself and said to my employer, I'm 18, when I was literally 16. And so, you know, I made this relationship with this Allstate agent who after I would call him and say, hey, you know, I have this. And that's one of the things. I would say George Brown is his name. And I love George, and I truly believe that he's been like my guardian angel here alive. I get to talk to him a lot, but when I did, it was just so profound and very empowering. More than inspiring, it was empowering, like the things that he said to me. Yeah.
That's awesome. We wanted to ask, I think, just to kind of get to know you a little bit more in terms of, we know you're a parent also, right? So, and you said you had your daughter. Do you have more kids? You just have your daughter, or they're little gang?
So I have 5 children.
Oh, yay. I thought so. I was like, I feel like
I thought you have more than one, but I never thought that you will have 5. Wow. I'm like.
I have 5 children. I have 1 grandson, 1 dog, 1 grand dog, and 2 turtles. I love animals. You must know something about me, actually. You know.
That's great. So, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And my granddog and my grandson fight over me. So that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, I guess one of the questions we wanted to know is just, you know, you're a business owner and you run a family as well. So how have you, has that been difficult? How have you managed? Some women will say, well, I take off my work hat and then I put my mom hat on, and others are like, no, it's one and the same. You're one person. So how have you juggled that or not juggled it, for example?
Now that's a very good question. I have to say it is challenging. And for women in particular, in any industry, I don't think it's just an insurance industry. Right. You want to be a professional, and as you have your business and you want your business to succeed, you want your family life to succeed. And I feel that it's just how we're wired. So you want to like provide the same level in both areas. And that is kind of hard to juggle. I would say, at different stages again in the process. As a mom, when I started out, I had a baby. I had 3 kids at the time, and I had my youngest was 18 months old, and my kids were very, very involved. I was also in PTO, so I was like, I wanted it all. I wanted them to do sports. I wanted to be part of PTA. I wanted to run my business. I like craziness.
Yeah.
I would say I did miss out on a lot of practices, but I never missed any like particular game or any performance, any award for my kids. So I just had to like plan it. I had to plan where I could attend. Did the guilt come about missing a lot of the rehearsals sometimes or practices? Yes. Could I have done it? Sometimes. But at the same time, what kept repeating in my mind was, I have to teach my kids also that when you've committed to something, you have to see it through. I would just say it's not easy, and not to not give credit to men, because I know there's a lot of men that do this, and I know a lot of men in our industry that I just like, wow, I take my hat off to them because they are very involved. But as women, I feel like you have so many relationships to see through. And as a principal, it gets very lonely on the top regardless. Because a lot of your efforts sometimes are not seen, and especially as you add team members. You not only have your children, your husband, or your work, but now you got other people that look up to you and that they have their own families and their own struggles. And so, yeah, you have got to find a balance for yourself too.
I have 2 dogs, so I'm a dog mom. But Isel, I think you can relate, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm actually, I'm glad that you're sharing this, because what you just said is so inspirational. Sometimes you feel like all your efforts are not enough, and you want to do this, and it's a constant struggle. And I think it's nice to hear that it's okay to be a struggle as well, because you feel like if you are struggling, it's because there's something inherently wrong on you being struggling, and actually it's nice to hear that no, it's part of the process.
You have to find what balances you, because that's one thing I found, that when I'm running on empty, everything turns to be more negative. But if I do the extra effort and to set my alarm a little earlier, and I do, like, for me, just 10-15 minutes of devotional, or for me, scripture, like if I listen to scripture in the morning and then I get up and do my workout, it's like magic, like I can handle anything.
Yeah.
When I don't, and I'm in self beat up, and like, God, I missed this. Oh, I missed that. And it's not. Like, at the end of the day, if no one dies, you're good. Because then you just overcome it. Right? Anything can be done. Anything can be repaired.
Yeah. And I think that's like it's the easiest and the hardest thing to remember, right? But even as you said, even those additional 15 minutes that you add to your day, I know that sometimes even when you do that, you're like, oh, I should be using these 15 minutes for something else, versus just like staying focused on it, right? So yeah, thank you for sharing that. That's really important, and we really appreciate it. We'd like to throw a little curveball, a softball rather, just because, a day in the life of Patty Lares. What is your typical like morning or Sunday morning beauty regimen? What do you do for yourself so that you can be like, okay, besides, you said you do like to listen to scripture, but something for your own personal care. What is something that you engage in?
Okay, so so I do like there's 4 things that I really get to do, and when I'm there, like, this is me. I do like to get my nails done. I do like to get my hair done, facials, and I absolutely love hiking. And
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be like this, just being outdoors and
Mhm.
just looking at nature for me, um, it just brings me so much opportunity to see creation
Mhm.
and to see that someone thought of every little thing. And so when I'm in nature, oh, that's kind of weird because then I connect it back to work, which I shouldn't, but I do.
That's
because,
interesting. Tell us more.
Yeah, tell us more, please.
because to the smallest things, here's the thing. And I recently did this. I went on a hike. So when you're hiking and you do something new and you're going higher and higher, just when you think you're at that peak and like, yeah, I can't wait to get there because I'm super tired. And then there's another hill, it's like, oh, holy cow, I gotta climb that again. And then I start thinking, that's life.
Yeah.
Like, even through your process as a mom or work or anything, you're like, yeah, I want to get that, next raise or, whatever it may be. And then you get there like, oh my God, there's more. And it used to be more like, oh, like I'm tired, I don't want to do it, but more is like, ooh, that's exciting. I wonder what's up there.
Right.
Let me climb. And then once you're there, like, oh, that's really cool, but there's another one. What more can I do? So anyway, I took it there, but I have got to do those things. And when I do, then I feel like, yeah, I look at it. And then that just kind of puts me in a good mood.
That's good.
All of that is incredible. I think it's really important. Also, I think sometimes we tend to put our own self-care, personal care, beauty regimen on the back burner because we're on the go, 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 right? So, but yeah, self-confidence really does pull you through a bad day. That's for sure. And I love the hiking story because I live in Lake Arrowhead. So to me, nature is everything. And to really equate it to the obstacles that you find in life too, that's just, I think a lot of people will resonate with that. So, yeah. And Excel is fresh off the Sedona road trip. Oh no, was it? No, Zion.
Zion, amazing.
I was just a donut. Oh, you just did that? Okay,
Yes.
so I just overcame like a personal fear and I went on my own.
Wow.
Yeah. I'll tell you more, on that later if you want, but that was just something I got to do at my age now. And I went on my own by myself, didn't book anything. It was just something calling me. And for me, it was overcoming a fear and the courage that I got to step into to overcome it.
Wow.
Wow.
Was the fear more so of doing something on your own that was so like such a big obstacle, or really just doing it on your own?
I believe that it was just being alone.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can say, like, I don't know, and it's so weird because I can say that doesn't really, when I used to say it, it didn't seem like it affected me in any way. But then when you're ready to do it, it's like, oh my gosh, what is this? What is that?
Mhm.
But I'm actually preparing to do a workshop, and you'll be invited in about a month and a half, and it's about courage. And then I thought self-intimacy, and I thought, how could I do this having this fear?
Right. Wow.
And then going there by myself and just planning everything. But you know what I found is trying to climb by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a rude awakening. Like, I can do it, but I also, why should I do it alone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do I have to lone wolf life? There's a lot of growing people like yourselves that if I said it, you'd help me out.
Yeah.
And sometimes we believe that people are not willing. And the truth is, there's so many people out there that are willing to just support anyone.
What is the best advice you have ever received, and how do you apply it in your personal life or in insurance?
Again, I'll go back to George, and I feel like when I thought of that, the best advice I would say is not to be afraid. like not to be afraid to begin where you're at, regardless. And George said this to me way before I even opened up my agency on my own. I was working in the insurance industry, but I had not opened. But I told him about my dream, because my dream of being a business owner is since I was a child. It didn't matter what business. I just wanted to own a business.
Right.
Right. So he said to me, okay, Patty, so today you sit in this little house that I, had. And he says, so if you go in and pursue your dream, and the worst that could happen, it doesn't work out the way you dreamed about. So you'll go and you rent an apartment, or you'll rent a room, but you'll still have a roof over your head. And maybe right now you eat, steak twice a week. And if it fails, well, then maybe you just don't get to eat steak for a while. But you'll still eat, in my case, rice and beans, right? And if you're driving whatever car you're driving today, and if it fails, there's like public transportation. And that just always played in my head. And I said,
Yeah.
absolutely right. Like, I have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. And I look at life that way today, and I tell my team, all, you have nothing to lose. If you haven't started anything, what do you have to lose? But you have everything to gain.
Yeah.
Is if you take a chance on yourself. I mean, if you're watching, if you take a chance, because fear and courage coexist. And it's okay to have fear. And it's okay to give self-compassion to then step into your courage. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're not taking anything with us. So that's my way of looking at life. Like, I'm not going to take anything, but I will take every challenge while I'm alive.
Okay, that was so great. So I want to ask, in terms of being a female in the industry, now we know that this industry is very much, and we're talking California, which is quite mixed, but in general, nationally, it's kind of like a good old boys. We know that there's not a lot of diversity in it, even in California, but do you feel that you've faced challenges being a female in this industry? Or do you feel like, you know what, it actually didn't really hold me back?
Oh, I think that things have changed. I think we're progressing. And, with your support, with the awareness that many people are bringing. So, don't ever discredit what you're doing today, because every little effort that anyone makes to bring awareness is very key and very critical. I feel that it's very important. I want to say, maybe 15 years ago, like, again, I'm celebrating 20 years. And I'll share this because I remember clearly going to a convention, that, American Asian Alliance convention. To me, I owe them a lot, because that's where I got my contracts when I went on my own. And after that, I remember people saying, oh, so-and-so invited me to go to lunch, or so-and-so invited me to go to dinner. And I thought, how come no one ever invites me?
What's wrong with this picture?
What's wrong with these people? I clean up. I mean, I show. Anyway, it's okay. A few years later, because of some people in the industry, I don't know, maybe they were trying to bring another female, maybe the Latina, representation of the, minority representation. But I want to say that it was challenging, and that there's definitely no diversity, right? Like, just mainly men, primarily, and nothing wrong with that, very intelligent. But I feel that what we can bring to any board, what we can bring to any group, it really is that different look. Because, men, their lens is very, very on an agenda. Like, do this, do this. This is the result. If you do this, you do this. And while that's very good, as a female, we are more on the service side, and we're more on the caring side. And so I think that the two together really bring a good blend. Because at the end of the day, we're dealing with humans. And humans need to be addressed in a human way. And if you any of those assessments that a lot of the companies do when they're hiring, if you think about it, they're looking at the quadrant of personalities.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I truly believe that that's what we bring. It was a difficult yes. And I tell you one comment that I will never forget. And I was sitting on a board, and I would say there were a couple of females there, not Latinas. I was the only one. And I remember someone saying to me, sitting next to me, and saying, "What are you doing here?"
No. Wow.
A male, of course. And
Of
I
course.
said, you know what I said? And I don't even know why I said that, but I mean, I'm glad I did. I said, by the grace of God. And she's like, don't ever say that. I'm like, I can say whatever I want.
Mhm. Exactly.
I never sat next to that person again. But
Yes.
later I thought, okay, one, I didn't give myself credit, but I do give credit that God put me there. You know, but I'm like, by the grace of God, because really I don't know why I'm here. I said yes.
Now that you're asking.
You're like, but I'm here now.
Yes.
I'm here now.
Yep.
And then I was asked to leave because there was some other confrontation between a couple people on that board. And that's the part that I remember, like, wait, this takes me back to like, middle, like just like second or third grade. If you want to be my friend, you can be their friend.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I'm like, no. I get to sit here, even if I don't know what I'm doing, I get to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to learn, and then I'm gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
I was a taker at the time, but you know what? I learned a lot.
No, that's yeah, but I mean, I think that's what is so important to us is just to get a seat at the table, as you said. And I think it's important for us to remember that if one person, whether they're male or female, but they happen to not look like everyone else, they see us there, it's already enough motivation to get them to say, I can do that too. Right? I want them to say, I can do that better than you. Great. That's exactly what we need, because we need to progress forward, right? So yeah, that's great. Yeah, I know it has been challenging. I think one of the things that Itzel and I noticed, because I got into insurance around the same age. My dad has an agency in San Diego. And then once I started becoming, working as a marketing rep, just the general okayness with the sexual harassment was a big turnoff. And I'm so glad that now I see that it has shifted, not entirely, but I do see that there's a higher level of respect for females in the industry. And I also think that females will stand up and say, you can't talk to me like that. Do it again and see what happens, And I don't think that happened even when I was a rep. There was still a little bit of a fear to say anything, because you're like, oh no, I don't want to be tagged as the person that's going to cause problems or, have an HR nightmare.
I don't think that we were even thinking, at least in my mind, I don't think that I even thought of bringing it out for fear that I was not accepted. It was almost like it was accepted.
Right, exactly.
Like some of the comments that were made, I mean, I literally went to that same weekend training board meeting where all the boys left to dinner, and guess what they did? They gave me the keys to the car to go back to the hotel.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was thinking, driving, this doesn't feel right. but at the same time, like, it's okay. And it's not okay.
No.
It wasn't until later, you know what I mean? So this is what I tell you, like, oh heck no, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, and then just continue to do the work. Truly, like, this is no fight, just really learn, embrace, and empower others so that we don't go silent, because that's really what happens.
Mm-hmm.
What you do to empower other people?
What I've chosen to do is really commit to who I be. Who do I want to be? What do I want to be known for? And am I really portraying those traits? And so when I commit to myself, because there's times, trust me, right? Because you're human, and certain people don't react to you the way you would hope, because that's when we set expectations on others.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh, well, forget it. I'm not going to do that. It's
Right.
more like, this isn't about them necessarily, the behavior. It's about my behavior. And I have this beautiful quote of Mother Teresa, and I have it here. You can't really, you can sort of see it. I have my board. I have my vision board on the side, by the way. But she said, do things for people not because of what they are or what they do in return, but because of who you are. And to me, that's what I do. So to empower others to answer that question is that, one, I have to lead by example, and I have to stay committed to what I say that I'm going to do, even when I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they're there, I do hold people high. I do hold them accountable. And I allow them to think for themselves. So as I like say that we're talking, and you tell me you're gonna do something, I'll ask more. Like, oh, really? You're gonna do that? Why are you gonna do that? Why do you want to do it? And what are the steps that you're gonna take to do it? And so just getting you to think, not because it's really exciting and shiny, because that's what I do, by the way. I'm a total promoter. And the next thing is like, what was I supposed to do? And so you're like, why didn't you say I want to do that? So I've learned to calm down a little bit, but to empower someone is to allow them to think for themselves, answer themselves. And then, did you say you're going to do this by when? Sunday. Oh, okay. Would it be okay if I come and check with you? And now you're like, oh, holy cow, you're going to check.
Yeah.
So that's truly empowerment, not allowing you to fail. And then if you don't, it's like, did anyone die? No? Okay, so how can we do it?
That's great. Okay. And do you feel that same kind of empowerment, do you also use that with your clients? Like what has that helped you and your agency become successful in that, that interchange, ¿cómo se dice? I was going to say it in Spanish, intercambio con los clientes, like that exchange with the clients?
Absolutely. Yeah. The girls used to have this thing. I don't see as many clients anymore, but they used to say, well, should we charge them, the fee for the policy or like a fee for the consultation?
Both. Charge both.
Believe it or not, and this recently from one of my mentors that I've learned is like people are silently waiting to be led. So lead them. And when you're talking to clients, lead them. I know, and this is that I tell my team, get out of your head and drop into your heart. Literally, if you allow your heart to do the talking, you're going to connect. Mm-hmm. But you know how sometimes you want to choose certain words, or and so you get stuck in a process.
Yeah.
But you can do the studying separately, and you could talk with a client, and I would just tell you why you need things, why you need your policy, why and why not. And one thing though, if we get business clients, any type of client, it's just really empowering them to oh, that's so great, great that you accomplished this. You got a brand new car. Oh, what an amazing accomplishment. Good for you. How do you feel about it? Was this really the car that you were looking to get? Oh, no, I actually wanted this, but but that's okay. So are you going to set yourself another goal and then get that? So you get them to get excited about it.
Yeah.
And they forget about the price. So then you're like, oh, yeah.
Right. No, but that's so true. I find that it's very, because Itzel and I talk to a lot of agents. Just we're both also, I used to run an agency. Itzel was an agent. So we've seen all the sides. And one of the things that we forget is that the client really doesn't know anything about insurance, right? And sometimes they don't know why they bought something and what they do with it now. So as you said, to lead them, that they're silently asking, it's so true. I think that's probably, honestly, the best well-put sales advice that I've ever heard, because most of the time they tell you, oh, persuade, you have to do this, and no, just literally they want you to tell them what to do. So
yes. There's nothing else. Like just they're silently waiting to be led. And that's what I tell them. Just lead them. Lead them into what they need because I always tell my team, don't feel like you're selling because I don't want if you're only selling on price, we're always going to lose for price. You cannot do that. And also, honestly, you get to identify the client. And I tell them, there's some clients that no matter what you say, like they're focused with this, just give them what they need and move on to the next one that will listen. And that's it. People just want to be led. And in different ways, to be honest, too.
I'm going to go back a little bit. You said that, men have this tendency to be very goal seekers, like very focused on the agenda. And part of what makes us different as a females is that we can, see the another perspective. So with the same, do you think there's a difference between a woman business owner than to be a male business owner, agency owner, or you think it's, what is your intake on that?
I do. I do. And I take pride on that because I feel that at the time that I started, I know a few very intelligent men that started their agency and maybe their approach, nothing wrong with that approach, with the tools we had at the time because things have changed. There's a lot of technology now, right? But at that time, I was able to triple the size of my business versus theirs. And I don't feel that it was because I had more knowledge, because I certainly feel that they had a lot more knowledge, but it was the approach of how to approach humans, which are clients.
Yeah.
The connection.
Yeah.
What was missing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like that is something that you would tell any agent, that not to forget that the person sitting in front of you is a human first.
Yeah.
And that insurance happens to be something they need, right? So
people want to be heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying, have an hour conversation. Like I can be quoting and listening to you, and I can be putting the plan together while I'm communicating with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, and I can say, based on what you said, correct me if I'm wrong. You mentioned this was important to you, this was important to you, this was important to you, correct? Yes. Okay. So based on that, here you go, right? Because I already have the plan ready. And so, then I had other strategies, right? They said, no, that's whatever. Oh, okay. So you're okay with your family not being covered. You're okay if you get into an accident and they're hurt and you have no coverage to go to the hospital. You're okay with that? And they're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
So I mean, you can still connect with people but allow them to see versus like just sign right here,
Mm-hmm. But I think it takes another. Obviously, it takes experience, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you learn how to speak to people after a while, and some people just have that knack. They're just naturally connectors, right? They can just pick it up and do it. But I think it really sets a lot of agents apart because you see a lot of agents that are just like the in and out, like let's just get them out the door, boom, broker fee, done, good, next. And that also serves a need, I suppose, because there are clients that just want in and out. They want no interaction. If they can do it online, even better. But I think based on what I've heard and based on what, in my opinion, the world needs, is that their connection is really what's going to ultimately get everyone moving forward, right? And progress and better.
I totally believe that. And even with technology today, you still have to be connected. You still get to choose words that can trigger certain feelings. Because like I told you before, as humans, there's different quadrants, different personalities. So sure, there's certain people that just like, let me just sign, I don't want the story, no problem. But they still get to learn what they're buying. And you can do it in different ways.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. I think we have our final question.
Oh, yay.
This has been great. But we just really wanted to know if you want to share because as you know, obstacles, failures, they teach us so much, right? And sometimes we just fear failing to the point where we don't start, as you said, we do nothing. but what has been what you would consider a very big failure with your business, in insurance, or however you want to share it? And how did you recover from it? What did you learn from it?
Wow, that's a good one. So many little ones. So many.
That's okay too, right? Anything that really just kind of stands out.
I want to say that the biggest failures have been of not taking opportunity. Not taking an opportunity to have endeavor into something that was offered. And like in my particular case, it was an opportunity to really branch out to, like, at this point would be 30, 40 agencies, right? Like really having a plan. And I feel that I lone wolfed it. I wanted to like take care of it all by myself. I wanted to come up with my own plan. I wanted to come up with my own financial plan. I wanted to come out with everything by myself. And I realized after that it was just such a great opportunity. Had I maybe removed my ego a bit, because it all comes down to the ego. Mm-hmm. And be able to be more vulnerable, because here's the thing. Oh, I'm a female, you know, they're gonna see me as I'm weak and I cannot be nervous. I cannot not have a plan. So waiting for the moment to look perfect. Those opportunities come and you gotta decide quick. And I think for me, that's one. Does it hunt me? No, it doesn't, because I didn't have anything to begin with. All I had was an opportunity to have more. And I look at it this way. It taught me not to play, you know, alone, to be okay to be vulnerable, to be okay to reach out to someone, to be okay to say, honestly, I have fear. I'm afraid. I got this whole freaking package in front of me, this is my friend, and I don't know what to do with it. Mm-hmm. Like I know, but I feel like I can't do it alone. Can you help? Mm-hmm. Can you connect me to someone that knows?
It's hard to overcome that, especially as a Latina female, because you don't want to show that you don't know. Exactly. And then you're like, oh, of course she needs help. Yeah. Right. Everyone, even dudes need help. They have no qualms about just saying, hey man, how do I do this? You know?
I know.
Yeah, so true. It's so true.
I would say that has been my biggest thing that I've encountered. Mm-hmm. But I've also been extremely blessed and truly, a year and a half ago, I had an opportunity to purchase a book of business. It's been a blessing and a building. Like somehow I'm now a real estate owner too. but just taking that step into like, okay, what's like, another $1 million, loan or whatever, right? You just, at the end of the day, like, what do I have to lose?
Right. And you are, because you said that you should ask for help. Do agents come to you sometimes to ask for help? Are they like, hey, like, are you open to, not that I'm promoting you or anything, but like,
Listen,
I think that they do, right?
Yeah, I do. And I'm an open book. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't believe in competition. You know why? Because unfortunately, for most humanity, is that we say we're going to do something, and we don't. The million processes that I have, and I've had agents come and look at it, and I recently had someone that came and he's like, gosh, I am tired just looking at it. I'm like, good. So you're not implementing it. Like, no, it's not that. It's just, it can be overwhelming for some people, but I am open to anyone truly, again, because there's no competition. And if I can encourage anyone who's just starting out, it's just one process at a time. Just process at a time. Before you know it, you look back and you compile like, oh wow, like yeah, like you
Yeah.
know, I have all this, but stay like consistent. And of course, like in our industry too, like you try something and it works. Okay, cool. Let's keep it going. Let's add a second one. It works, or it didn't work. Okay, well let's remove it and let's try a third one.
I think a big fear for a lot of agents is really understanding how to handle finances. They sometimes ignore it and wait until so long in the process that they're like, oh, now I should get a bookkeeper or a CPA. And things just unravel because they realize they've not invested in their business or in their team. They just spend because the money is there. And yeah, so I would say that if you have those open processes and agents are not saying, hey Patty, can I take you out to lunch to learn, it's quite detrimental, I would say, because that's one thing I find really takes agencies apart. They don't manage their finances.
I had a CPA before I started my business.
Yep.
Yeah. I consulted with him. And in fact, I was going to start my business as a partnership with George. And he told me, you already have a partner. Why do you want another one? And so there's a lot of things. You're absolutely right. So I learned that I used to think this way. I used to think, oh, I'm going to spend X amount by getting a coach for this. Oh, that program is going to cost me X. I look at it this way, I'm going to invest.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, every investment has a return. Some investments have a bigger return than others, just like our clients do. When they're investing in insurance, sometimes it pays like hundreds of thousands of dollars in that need of an accident, sometimes it doesn't. But it's an investment that'll teach you or protect you. So I have learned that investing in myself, investing in my communication skills, investing in, you know, business coach and all those things are very, very important. Of course, when someone's just starting out, I get it. It's tight. So I'm open to anyone really, and even to come and look at the processes of, you know, what we've done. They're not the best. There's so many more out there, a lot. But just basically don't lone wolf. There's a lot of people willing to help.
Yeah. Well, Patty, thank you. This has been tremendous. This has been so great. Thank you so much.
I'm so honored.
Giselle and I have kind of like a joke question because we're like we love everything Patty Lares.
Yes.
But you want to ask it?
So, are you aware of your fame? Do you know how famous you are among this insurance female community?
No. No. What do you mean?
She's like, tell me more. Hold on.
Yeah, but I really like what you just said.
No, it's really true. Even amongst other agencies, amongst reps, amongst professionals, they know who you are. They know of your agency. They know what you've done. But I think you yourself said you feel very blessed. So all the good things that you're deserving of have come your way. So that's really great. But a lot of people do really appreciate and I think silently admire what you're doing. And I think if you're going to get out there to speak professionally and consult, I mean, that's like music to my ears because I think individuals will be so happy to hear from you and learn so much from you. So really excited for that. If that's the next chapter for you, fantastic. Sign us up.
Yes, please let us know.
No.
Because it really has been, I've been really blessed. You know, a lot of the conditions that are put on ourselves, by ourselves, and by society sometimes, by our upbringing, and we all have to take some sort of responsibility for that. And so nothing more feels like you can accomplish so many things in life and do well, because don't get me wrong, wealth. And this has brought opportunity for me in my particular case, my children, you know, being able to be educated. That's really all my dream was. And to today, in fact, my grandson being able to go into a private school and be able to go to school and, you know, just having the opportunities that this can bring, but also the responsibility of society, of telling you or telling any kids, you know, many people are very fortunate to be born into these beautiful families that are where they're loved and their parents guide them and all these things, you know, and that's good. And I have no bad feelings in that. I mean, I feel like so happy and excited for them.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's some that maybe were not given the same opportunity for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that we weren't created for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
See, we were all created for greatness. It's just when.
Yeah.
And like I told you, the opportunities come and go. But it's
Yes.
learning to recognize them when they're there and taking it and removing fear so that your courage can be, you know, you can be vulnerable and just really be open. So yeah, we just get to do that.
Yeah. And having somebody that, you know, gives you that push is important. And that's, thank you for being on Talk Insurance to me. You know, we talk insurance, but we talk about being human. And we happen to be in the insurance industry, and that's really the you know, the whole point, that we want to be able to talk to more amazing people like you, and also help people understand that this industry has been so good to a lot of Latinos, a lot of minorities, and we play a huge role, and we can encourage others to also play their own role, right, and find their greatness as well. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
This has been amazing. It's my honor. And yeah, let me know how I can support you and get it off. Yeah.
Yay, thank you. Yeah, have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you want to learn more, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as @Talk Insurance to Me.
Let us know if you have a topic that you'd like to hear about.
I'm Itzel.
I'm Vera.
We will see you next time.